What's going on, guys? We are back. We're going to be doing the full run through of difficulty 7 for the Scourge. And I have sped up a bit of the parts, so that way you guys aren't sticking around and watching a 50-minute video. But we are not going in with any Scourges, so we're going to keep it vanilla style. And I think the first couple nodes are pretty straightforward. A lot of these, it seems like, just like the previous Scourges, the deciding nodes will be the nodes 5 and 10. And of course, the first couple nodes are pretty nice as well, because if you want to amp up and get your Young Avengers abilities up as well, to kind of prepare them for nodes 5 and 10, that would work as well. We're going to run in here with a 840 Web Warrior team, and we're just going to quickly swap out my Miles and my Scarlet Spider, because just bad roster saving, and is just very fast saving. It didn't really care about the lineup or anything like that. But as you guys can see, we're gonna do difficulty 7 here, and hopefully you guys will get a gist of what the power level takes. I think a lot of people will have a lot of beefed up Web Warriors from the previous Scourge as well as Dark Dimension 2, or excuse me, Dark Dimension 5, and from Doom 2 as well. Just loving these guys up. So I try to apply the disruption on Juggernaut first. I find that way, if they do try to use that taunt, it's not going to be too annoying. And then of course, even with a couple abilities there from these guys, you can already see a lot of their health just drop. So it is I think for difficulty 7, it is fairly straightforward. I think a lot of people are the average player is probably gonna get through at least 6 and 7 pretty smooth. And as you guys see here, we're already kind of cruising through it. So we're gonna speed this up to save you guys a bit of time. But I'm sure you can tell here, obviously, you want to make sure you can get rid of Magneto before he lands his blind. And of course, we do have a weird XFactor team as well. But yeah, just if you want to stun or just make sure you cancel him out first, and that way you're not going to have any issues moving forward. And then yeah, like I said, we're going to speed it up so you guys aren't watching it at normal speed. But very straightforward node, and it's also nice because even if your Web Warriors go down, there is a lot of other capable teams that can take care of these nodes early on. These are the city nodes. We have our Cloak and Dagger as well as Shang-Chi, so those will work as well. And as you guys can see, we'll quickly just show you the power level there. Sorry, I think I kind of rushed through that first node there without having to did that. Just, you know, like I said, I think they're very, very self-explanatory teams. I think, yeah, so if they get wiped, not a big deal, because you can clean up with Shang-Chi and the Cloak and Dagger combo, and you're not going to need them again later on in the other nodes. So it doesn't really hurt you guys by throwing these in there. I think the only thing is, if you are using this team and you're using Miles, perhaps maybe subbing him out and maybe making sure somebody else is a 5th member, so that way he doesn't get damaged before node 5, because you want to make sure he's at full health as well before that node kicks in. Otherwise, it might make a little bit more harder for you guys when you guys are doing node 5 and 10. Like I said, it all depends on your power, and I think Squirrel Girl will give you enough heals, but yeah, for the most part, as you guys see here, we're gonna get wiped here. So we're just gonna speed it up, and we're gonna just try to do as much damage as we can before we bring in our A team, which is obviously our Shang-Chi and Cloak and Dagger. But yeah, trying to get rid of these characters and kind of just do as much damage as you can. Obviously, the Darkhold members are the ones that are dangerous, but get rid of Mercenary Lieutenant because he can apply so many buffs. So we get wiped. Not the end of the world here. I was experimenting more so when I was running through 7, and I just kind of wanted to see how much damage we could do before they got dropped. And of course, we got through half the node, so of course, making sure you got 2, whoever your strongest attackers are beside Dagger, she's going to give them offense up. Shang-Chi really is probably one of the key members because of the fact that he has such high critical hit points or attack points, and then of course that crazy ultimate of his that brings so much speed reduction. So just yeah, just food for thought. And of course, these guys are Dark Dimension 5 veterans, because they've gone through the mode, and they've you know stumbled in through the trenches, of course. So they're very seasoned. But yeah, these guys will make short work of this team here, especially because they're only like 80,000, 90,000 points on combat power. So yeah, this team will be very, very straightforward, especially if you have the Cloak and Dagger combo. And of course, we just threw in Doc Ock and Ghost Rider in there just as randos, because we're not gonna really need them again. Not really. Doc Ock will come back as a villains. So I just throw him in there because we have so many other strong villains. We're not gonna use him. But of course, we'll make sure his cooldowns and everything are good to go. Obviously, you guys can see we get through it with no issues at all. And having said that, just keep in mind again about more Miles. If you are using him as a fifth, maybe perhaps not putting him with the Web Warriors in case he does get killed in the process. So the next node is mutants, and very straightforward again. So we're obviously not gonna go into too much detail of it, other than the fact that once the kills start racking in, it's very much like Doom 2 or any battle that involves the Axemen. Once they get going, it is incredibly difficult to stop these guys. Once they get that momentum going, they get the buffs, they get the heals, they get stuns across, blinds. It's really tough to take these guys out. I start on the right side aiming at Hawkeye because he is a good cleanser. He's got blind. We don't like that. So I like to focus on him because he seems to be a critical key part on this team. And he's clustered up nicely as well with Yondu and Star-Lord, so it kind of does spread a little bit of splash damage as well if you guys are focusing on Hawkeye, I find. So yeah, and then having these guys leveled up because of Doom 2 does really help out, because you're not really putting too much in reinvesting on dead characters that you don't really work on, like the Inhumans or whatever like that. So yeah, up to you guys. I think if you have Omega Red and Emma Frost as well, those are very good substitutes as well, but we are using them in the villains, so we're going to keep them kind of in full health. And of course, you guys will see in the next node, we're actually going to throw a sack in the wave just to kind of absorb some hits, because it makes it so that it's not very RNG dependent. I found that just experimenting, the Axe team does get through it quite well, but if you throw in another mutant team, it makes it really easy, because it brings a lot of these guys' health down to striking distance. And then once the Axemen team get going and start getting some kills, it's almost unstoppable at that point. So of course as well, we have Greg on the board, so that really helps push everything and makes the whole battle so much faster and easier. So we are very lucky in that they decided to throw us a Greg on this node. And of course we also have a lot of low stragglers as well, but strategy here was probably better to keep Hela alive, so that way Greg can just fuel your guys' victory. But I didn't really care enough to keep doing that, because we knew that it was a straight enough node, and we could get through with it with our current team. So I think I only have a 700 and only. I make it sound like it's not all that big, but it is pretty decent. 730. So as you guys see here, we'll throw in an XFactor with Phoenix, and I find that this team is great because they still do some bleeds and a little bit of crits here and there, but I found that it was a good team because if you have Phoenix in there, she could land her special if she doesn't get stunned, of course. And yeah, and of course you're getting a whole bunch of these guys just getting lots of bleeds and lots of damage across the board. Obviously it sucks that we weren't able to take anybody out, but lots of damage across. And then of course you can bring in your axe, and these guys will do the finishing touches here. So it helps out because now you got all these low health stragglers, and of course they're able to really make use of that and really get that momentum going once they pick up some kills. So we got up a couple kills on the side there thanks to our sack. And then I imagine I will be doing the strategy very similar with difficulty 8 as well. So this is really nice where we can pick that up. And as you guys can see here, we get through it quite quickly once the momentum gets going here. So of course we're going to speed the footage up so you guys aren't eating up your entire time watching this. But as you guys see, once the kills start racking in and you start getting that speed boost coming in with the kills, with the turn meter, it's unstoppable. Once, like I said, once these guys are a bit slow starters, but once they get the kills and they start moving, it's really tough to stop these guys. It's incredibly difficult. And of course, none of these guys will be used for the future nodes as well, so it's kind of nice for us that we don't really have to worry about cooldowns or anything like that. So yeah, that's also nice as well. I feel like I leave these guys last because they're a bit slower, and it kind of helps out. Not sure if that's just me, but as you guys see here, we get through 1 to 4 quite fast, and now we are basically on node 5. We got a 780 team. Not sure who the best character to put beside Miss Marvel is. I've been alternating between America Chavez and Kate. We'll see. Kate gets a lot of evasion, so we'll see. We'll see if maybe if there's a better one, but we'll have to mess around and see which one's actually better. And yeah, we'll take it from there. But this one will actually sort of keep it slow, so you guys can kind of see the process on it. But yeah, the initial wave is going to be the onslaught. You'll get a whole bunch of barrage of attacks coming from everybody. So this is where having a big Miss Marvel, having a big Squirrel Girl is going to come in incredibly handy, because if they get nuked before they even take their first turn, it's going to be incredibly hard to kind of bounce back. And as you can kind of see here, we come up with a heal. It might be better off holding that heal as well, because depending on where the Taskmaster and the Doctor Strange are on your guys' turn meter, they might be able to actually get their negatives out before that heal. So it might be nice to see if I held it there, then she would use it there. So I don't know. We're still in difficulty 7. I don't know if it's going to be game changing at this point, but definitely something to consider moving forward when we're doing the higher difficulties. Maybe 8, potentially 9, since everyone's saying we might be able to do 9 this time. We'll see how it is, but for sure right now we'll just kind of make our way through the nodes. And right now we're going through 7, and we'll try 8 after this. But land the AoE down, and don't even worry about saving your cooldowns, because we have lots of enemies left on the board here, and we do have energy from Miss Marvel as well. Once she blasts her ultimate, we should be able to get a couple hits of energy back as well, depending on our luck, I guess. But take out the Stranges. I feel like Heartless was a good choice, because if he ults, I feel like it would be incredibly dangerous. So that's kind of why I went for the 2 Doctor Stranges. And then of course you can go for Taskmaster, because his blind and his stun are quite annoying as well. This would be a very good node for the X-Men. Unfortunately, they're not here, but keep in mind they do have, I think there's an Ebony Maw and a couple of Elsas that drop as well in the next wave. So those would probably be the most, I think, the next dangerous characters after these guys. But yeah, we'll get some energy back here thanks to Miss Marvel. As you guys can see here, lots of crits, and lots of people also using Miles as well. I mean, there's lots of combinations of Miles instead of Echo, or maybe people are using, they don't have Echo or Kate Bishop unlocked due to the fact that they missed the event or they weren't here. But yeah, there's got to be definitely some mismatch, combinations. But I think this one right here, the one I'm running with the original, we'll call them the OG Young Avengers, since these guys were kind of the starting members. I guess Miles was a starting member too. Well, some of the early ones, I guess. But yeah, but Kate Bishop and Echo really make the team complete, and it's tough to do this without them. I'd say they give so much buffs and hits, and then evasion. It's just, yeah, and then her blinds are incredible, and her AoEs as long as they land. I mean, but as you guys see here, we'll throw an AoE, and then we'll get a couple of negatives, disruptions. It's just, yeah, incredibly nice. She's got some nice versatile skills that she can utilize, and we're going to need that for Node 10 as well. So that's why I think it's very nice that we can take advantage of that. You can take out Sunfire. I feel like his ultimate, if you leave him alone, is going to do a lot of damage as well. But yeah, we'll speed this up here. We'll leave Ebony Maw and Elsa kind of last. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it, guys. I think that's it for this node. And of course, just, you can basic, save your cooldowns. And that's it for difficulty 7 for node 5. Next up, we got the villains. And I do apologize, because I know a lot of people aren't going to have the team that I have, but we got our Dormammu unlocked here. So if you don't have him, what I recommend is I'm not going to use Doom on this particular node, but if you guys don't have Dormammu unlocked, what I recommend is throwing Doom in here, because he's going to be a good substitute. He's going to give 3 turns, as long as you just make sure you keep an eye on his cooldowns. As you guys can see here, we're actually going to use one of my favorite arena teams that I've been running right now, and this team actually counter a lot of the Darkhold variants. So it's one of the favorite teams I've got right now on offense as well in War, but minus Emma Frost, of course. But yeah, Emma Frost will give that speed reduction to the team, and then we've got Dormammu, and then we've got the other Darkhold members here holding the fort down. But as you guys see here, Morgan Le Fay is actually the MVP. If you don't have her, I think it would be probably a little harder, but I'd say she's probably more important than Dormammu. And I will show you guys here, as you guys can see here, we don't actually really get too much impact from from himself. Yes, his revive is going to come in really handy, I think, especially when we're doing the higher difficulties. But for the most part, I'm only going to most likely use his stun and his basic. So he doesn't really, well, he shouldn't make too much of a difference. But yeah, if you guys have Doom, he's gonna be a really good substitute for him. I think if I put Doom and Dormammu in the same team, it would just be overkill. So we'll keep Doom out of this for the time being, and we'll speed this up as well. But this node, I think, will be very straightforward because of the different characters we have. And villains is very, very good. As I alluded to earlier as well, Doc Ock, especially if you've already got him up to 15 or 16 running the tech nodes, he is going to be a good character as well for this one because he can lengthen those negatives that Morgan Le Fay lays out. And then it'll help Agatha and Doctor Strange as well with all these negatives. Like, look at this stuff. It's crazy. So we are going to, unfortunately, use his stun here on She-Hulk because I hate her. I just hate her taunting and her the way she absorbs all the negatives. So other than that, though, I would say if you have Doom here, using him and getting those 3 turns of turn meter would be actually pretty solid. And I think for the higher difficulties, I might even have to split up my teams here into like a A team and a B team. But right now, obviously, as you guys can tell here, we don't really need much help. We got A Force members dropping here with Phoenix and Beast, so kind of a weird mismatched team. But yeah, it's interesting. I mean, they really gave us these nodes because, I mean, other than nodes 5 and 10, I think lots of people are going to blast through these other restricted node categories or whatever. But yeah, it's very, very straightforward. And of course, my team's very built up as well. And as you guys see here, one and done. So very, very straightforward, very easy. So the next team is even better because we actually have the Eternals as well. And I found that if you slap Thanos in between Cersei and Icarus, my goodness, yeah, it's like energy galore. So I put Deathpool in there because people are dropping like flies. She's only level 80 as well. Everybody else is like 85 or 86, but she's only level 80. So of course she's got room to grow. And I think my Thanos is level 80 as well. So yeah, lots of room to grow, obviously, but we'll speed the footage up once we get going here. But I'll just show you guys that really they get a whole bunch of summons here early on, I think. And oh, sorry, that's the next node. The next node, there's a lot of summons, and you're gonna laugh when you see what happens. But yeah, we'll throw the Icarus bomb. It's gonna take a huge chunk of these guys' health. And then, of course, Deathpool's going to do its thing since we knocked out 3 guys. So she's going to do her hits and snipes. And, of course, don't forget the fact that we did take out some guys there. That Thanos just gets a ton of energy feeding to the team. Unfortunately, we don't get that same effect because Deathpool's not in raids. So she doesn't give that energy gain as well for the team. But that's okay. And then you can leave, whoever's last, usually the Web Warriors or whatever. You can take them out after. And we do... I think, yeah, we very, very straightforward, like I said. So this is funny. So if you guys look at node 9 here, wow, this is hilarious. We're gonna start off with we'll just watch Icarus. He's gonna throw his bomb, and it's I think Nick Fury or whoever summons. I forget who it was. He summons minions, and because of their little speed up as well, they get a little umph. They get a little one up on us, but that's not exactly a bad thing because. Then Icarus takes his turn, and watch, this is boom, and then another one, and 5 guys wiped out. We speed it up because obviously for purposes you guys can see here, very, very straightforward, very easy. Again, I used the stun on Captain Sam there, but very, very fast because again, I don't want to eat up your guys' time here. This was like a 50-minute video, and when I was watching it the first go around, I was like, holy smokes. Lots of these length videos are going to be on posted by content creators, and I want to streamline and make it quicker for you guys to kind of go through these ones. But yeah, very, very straightforward, guys. As you can see here, like I said already, it's just a very, very solid nodes to kind of lead up to 10 here. So 10 I find is actually easier than 5. So I don't know if that was just me, but we'll see here. And of course we also have our B and our C team as well. So we don't have anything to worry about there. So we do have such a big Young Avengers that, yeah, his bomb doesn't even really tickle us. It's just more like a, you know, a formality, I guess. He just kind of says hello. But yeah, I find that, you know, if you have a big America Chavez, you'll be able to clear his positives, and you can basically probably take him out in one shot if he didn't revive. But yeah, and then we got Kate Bishop there. She'll flip the negatives around that little adjacent area. And yeah, it's good to focus on kind of in that corner here. I guess we're kind of trapped there because we do have Sif taunting us, but that's fine. We usually, with thanks to all their skirmishers and their assists, they should be able to strip the buffs off pretty simply, easily. And of course, we have Mighty Thor and Valkyrie in this, so it is interesting to see the new guys. And yeah, I think for the most part, they're pretty straightforward. They don't seem to be too crazy. Although it's nice that Jane can actually throw the blind, so I find that that's actually kind of nice. I'm looking forward to that. Looking forward to getting her unlocked as well. But yeah, you can kind of you can go for, you know, we don't really have a choice. I'm just going where the taunters are. But yeah, I think going after Icarus is a good idea because you don't want to leave him alone. He's got a ton of damage, and he can reduce our turn meter as well. So yeah, interesting. They throw the it's like a Young Avengers sort of, right? They do have a Young Avengers mix here, and yeah, America Chavez, I'm sure at the higher difficulties is going to be able to pack a punch. So we'll see how it goes when we do 8. But as you guys can see here right now, we're not having too many issues. And then once you take out Miss Marvel, hopefully that's the end of the taunts there for a bit, and then we can kind of just get a clear shot on Icarus because yeah, he's annoying. Miss Marvel, we can always heal up. She's gonna get a little slower, which is fine for us because if she gets taunted, then she's gonna be slower, so that works for us. And then yeah, as you guys see here, every time we get attacked, Echo is just dishing. Lots of damage. Very nice if you have her unlocked. So hopefully you guys do. And yeah, her event was crappy, so that's why I was saying lots of people were very disappointed with her event, and it was a very pay to play event, and I think it was one of the worst ones I've ever seen. But anyways, enough of that. We got Kate Bishop's ultimate as well. I like to I don't know if that's just me. I like to use it anytime I get, so then you get all these negatives across, and I mean really there's like 6 guys on the board, so that's like pretty much half the characters left on this node, more than half I guess, because right now we've only got 9 left, so more than half. But yeah, get the blinds, get the negatives, whatever. I mean they're very random with the negatives, but I find that, hey, just get it across, and then you can, you know, worry about focusing anybody else that's kind of lower or weaker. And I'm not really sure if this correct attack order is the best. I'll probably be a little bit more picky once I get into the higher difficulties, but right now I find that, yeah, for sure, I probably could have been a little smarter. Instead of dropping those guys, I should have probably maybe damaged one more, so that way they don't drop. I think they drop on when there's like 2 of them left over, or two drops from the 9, so a 7 or a 6 or whatever. They would have dropped the other 2, but the vultures, or not the vultures, the Mysteria images, they kind of created the spawns, and then I kind of blocked it up a bit. But anyways, yeah, sorry, I'm harping on here, but yeah, they dropped another Ms. Marvel. I find that going for her is probably the best idea because she can taunt again, and then it's just gonna get annoying for you guys. And then go for if you can land a blind on Black Bolt, that's great. But I would still, yeah, just take him out. He's gonna ult. You don't want him to screw your plans over. Keep in mind we still have our A force as well, so really I don't know if we would have too many issues. But yeah, maybe we should have went for Mighty Thor. Yeah, she actually was quite tanky at the end here. But there you guys have it. That's the full run in about 20 minutes or so. Obviously, it took a little longer, but I sped up parts of it. And this hits our new high score here. So we've done difficulty 6 and 7 now. And well, once I get 8 done here, I'll get the footage out to you guys. But hopefully it helped you guys out. Hopefully you guys can see the lineup of the teams. Apologies again, I know not everyone has Dorma unlocked, but Doom is a viable substitute. And hopefully you guys found this useful. We will catch you guys in the next one.